Welcome to SkyGrid tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn simple interest. We will dwell majorly on the formulas of simple interest. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be exposed to different ways questions are asked in simple interest, and you will be able to solve them without finding it difficult. You will also be given home drills to assess your understanding of the tutorial on simple interests. Get ready with your writing material. Let's begin immediately. Now, the area we are going to concentrate in this tutorial is simple interest formula. We attempt some past questions and we also give you home drills. Now, let us look at the formula associated with simple interest. There are 5 main formula associated with simple interest, and we are going to exploit the use of these 5 formulas. The simple interest formula is given by simple interest is equals to principal times rate times time. While the rate is given in form of percentage, is expressed in terms of percentage, that means the rate can be given in form of what percentage. Now, there are 4 variables in our dealings with simple interest. The first variable is the interest, which is welcome to the simple interest. The second variable is the principal. The principal is the amount that is borrowed. The interest is the measure of the interest. Now, the rate is the interest measure, while the time is the duration of the loan. So there are 4 variables as we begin to deal with them one after the other. I mean, you may be asked to find a simple interest. You may also be asked to find the principal, or the rate, or the time, as the case may be. So I'm going to expose you to the 5 major formula used in tackling question in simple interests. Simple interest formula. This formula are derived formula. They are the 4 major formula used in solving questions in simple interest. The first formula, formula 1, says the simple interest is equals to the principal times the rate times time. The simple interest is equals to principal times rate times time. The second formula says, or the second formula is looking for, or you are asked to find the principal. If you are asked to find the principal, then this is the formula you will use to find the principal. P, which is the principal, is equals to simple interest over rate times time. That is where the interest is known, and the rate is known, and the time is known. But when the simple interest is not given, but the amount is given, then you will not use this formula. You will use the second formula. The second formula is principal is equals to amount over 1 plus rate times time. This is a formula we use to find the principal when this principal is not known. The principal is not known and the amount is known. What is the amount? The amount is the principal plus interest. The amount is the principal plus interest. So when you are looking for the principal and the principal is not given, but the amount is given, this formula is what you will use to solve that problem. And that formula is given as P, which is principal, is equals to A over 1 plus rate times time. Now, the other formula is the one you will use when you are given the interest. If you are given the interest and you are given the rates and time, you use this formula. That one will be principal is equals to simple interest over rate times time. That is in the situation where you are given the simple interest and you are given the rates and you are given the time, you use this formula to dissolve it. But in a situation where you are not given interest and only what you know is, or what is given is amount, this is what you will use to dissolve that question, which is amount over 1 plus rate times time. P is the principal we are looking for. So let's go back to the next. Let's go to the next formula. The next formula says T. That means if you are asked to find the time, this is a formula you will use. Time is equal to interest over principal times rate. In this case, you will be given the simple interest, that is the interest, and you're given the principal and you're given the rates. So to get the time is simple interest over principal times rate. That one will give you what? The time. Then if you are asked to find the rates, you get the rates with this formula. The rate is equal to simple interest over principal times time. Simple interest over principal times time. You find out that the first formula, which is formula 1, which is simple interest, is equal to principal times rate times time. If you are looking for any of these variables by the left side of the equation, which is P, R, and T, then it becomes simple interest over the remaining 2. Simple interest over the remaining 2. That is why when we are looking for P in this equation 2 or formula 2, we are looking for P, then it becomes simple interest plus R and T. And when we are looking for the time, which is T, the formula for us to use is simple interest over P and R. And when we are looking for the rates, the formula we have to use is simple interest over P and time, over P and T. So we need to commit this formula into memory. This formula have been derived and you need to commit it into memory. Then the last formula there is A, which means the amount is equals to the interest plus what? The principal. The amount that the money will get to when you borrow money for so years, as so rate, as so what time is given as simple interest, which is interest plus what? The principal. These 5 formula are the only formula associated with what? Simple interest. If you commit this formula into your memory, then you won't have any problem in solving problem that is from simple interest. So that there are 5 things that we ask you to find in any simple interest question. They will ask you to find the simple interest. That is formula 1. They may ask you to find the principal. Formula 2. Formula 2 has two formula. Formula 2, the first one is when you want to find a simple interest, the principal, when the simple interest is known, the rate is known, and the time is given. You use formula what? The first formula. But when you want to find the principal, when the simple interest is not given, and the only thing that is given is the amount, then you need to use the second formula, which is P is equals to amount, which is A, over 1 plus rate times what? Time. They will ask you to find the time. The formula is given in 3. To find the rate, the formula is given in what? 4. And to find the amount, given the simple interest and the principal, the formula is given in what? 5. Now let us take example. Let us burrow into solving problems with simple interest. Knowing the formula alone will not do us any good if we do not put it into practice. Knowing the formula, after committing the formula into your memory, then what you need to do, how to use the formula. So we are going to learn how to use the formula by attempting some past examination questions. Now, question 1 or example 1. Now, before we go to example 1, we are going to throw more light on the rates. The rates in simple interest is usually expressed in percentage. That means say at the rate of 1%, at 2%, 3%, 5%, 50%, 90%, and so on. What do they mean by percentage? Percentage is a number expressed over what? 100. And 100 is a power of what? 10. That means the rate is a decimal what? Fraction. And if the rate is a decimal fraction, which means the rate is convertible to decimal what? Number. So all the percentages we are going to use in this tutorial. We are not going to say percentage is equals to 5 over what? 100. No, that is percentage, but we are going to convert this percentage, this decimal fraction, to decimal number. We'll be using decimal number in solving the problem we are going to encounter in this tutorial. So, how do you convert a decimal fraction to decimal number? Simple. Since every rate is expressed in terms of percentage, that means if you say 50%, it is 50 over what? 100. 70%, it is 70 over 100, which are decimal what? Fraction. Now let us take a look at 1%. 1% will be 1 over 100. To convert this 1% to decimal, or this decimal fraction 1 over 100 to decimal, this is what we will do. We look at the numerator and move the decimal place 2 places from the left to the right. That means we are going to count from 1, from the left 1 to the right 2, and we put our decimal point there. That means 1 over 100 converted to decimal number is going to be 0.01. 0.01, as you can see in the screen here. Now 1% is equals to 1 over 100. And because it is 100, we only deal with what? 2 powers. The power of 10 in 100 is 2, which is 10 raised to the power of 2. So we are going to move the decimal points on the numerator to 1 and 2. We have 1 there. We have to move it like this. 1 and 2. Then we put decimal points and add another decimal point. That means 1 over 100 is equivalent to what? 0.01. So another way of writing 1% is 0.01, and this is what we are going to be using in solving problem in this tutorial. All our rates will be converted to decimal word number. Now let us take a look at another example of conversion of decimal fraction to decimal number. 3% is the same thing as 3 over 100. And converting 3 over 100 to decimal fraction, you move the decimal places from the left to the right of a numerator. The numerator in this case is 3, and you move it 1, 2, and you put your decimal point there and add another decimal point so that it becomes 0.03. Now, every single digit from 1 to 9 have 0.0. For instance, 1% is 0.01, 2% is 0.02, 3% 0.03, so on until 9%, which is 0.09. But immediately you come to 10%, it becomes 0.1, 20% 0.2, 30% 0.3, 40% 0.30, 40% 0.3, 0.40, 50% 0.50. So the digits from 1 to 9, you have 0.01, 0.02, so on up till 0.09. But immediately it comes to 10, it becomes 0.10, 0.20, 15, 0.15, 25, 0.25, and so on and so forth. This is a mental work. You do not even need to do calculation. You just do it just like that without doing calculation. Somebody say, what is the decimal? Convert 55% to decimal number. It's just 0.55. Or convert 13.5 to decimal number. It's just 0.135. And so on and so forth. So you have to know this area practically. Now, in this section, they say convert the following to decimal words into decimal number. The first one is 7. 7 there is 0.07. 9 is 0.09. 15 is 0.15. 90 0.90. 45 0.45. 6% is 0.06. 3.5% is 0.035, and 74% is 0.74 converted to decimal words number. This area must be committed to memory. You must be able to convert any decimal fraction to decimal number without wasting time. So, having known this, let us attempt to solve some questions. Now, the first question that we are going to attempt here is question 27, 2019. That is University Matriculation Examination 2019. The question reads, the simple interest on 8,550 for 3 years at X% per annum is 4,890. Calculate the value of X to the nearest whole number. Wow. Yes. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking for X. X represents what? The rate. As you can see here, the amount is given. The principal is given. The interest is given. Then the time in years is given. In this question, the only thing that is not given is the rate of interest, which is represented as X%. Now, what is the formula for finding the rates? Before we find the rate, there are some options here. We have 19%, we have 20%, we have 25%, we have 16.3%. This question is asking us, what is the rate? What is the rate? The rate is given by the formula R is equals to simple interest over principal times what? Time. Yes. Now, the principal is given to be 8,550 and the interest is given to be 4,890 and the time is given. So we just fix in those value into the formula for finding the rates. Simple interest is 4,890, principal is 8,550, time is 3. All are what? Given. And the formula is rate is equal to simple interest or interest over principal times time. The interest now is 4,890 over the principal 8,550 times 3. That we get 4,890 over 2,5,650. This 2,5,650 is as a result of the multiplication of the principal and the what? Time. That's 550 times 3. Eventually, you come to 0.19. 0.19 is as good as 119 over what? 100. And 19 over 100 is equals to what? 19%. So the correct option there is A, which is 19%. Let's proceed to the next question. Now the next question is question 16, 2018. Question 16 of 2018. If the simple interest on a sum of money invested at 3% per annum for 2.5 years is 123 naira, find the principal. Yes. In this question, we are asked to find the principal. It is the principal that we are going to find. And already you know the formula for finding the principal, which is P, which is principal, is equal to interest over rate times what? Time. And in this question, the simple interest is given, which is 123. The rate is given as 3%. Then the time is also given to be 2.5 years. All are given in the question. So what you need to do, having known the formula, is to fix in this value to the formula. And it becomes 123 divides 0.30. This 0.30 is now the rate expressed in a decimal number. That is 3% is 0.30 times what? The time, which is 2.5 what? Year. So it becomes 123 over 0.30 times 2.5, which invariably reads 123 over 0.07. 0.07 is the result of timesing the rate and the time, which is 0.03 times 2.5, and eventually we get P is equals to 1640, and the right option there is option word C, as you can find there, option C. Now we proceed to the next question. The next question is question number 17, 2015. Question 17, 2017, and it reads: find at which rate per annum simple interest on 525 naira will amount to 588 in 3 years. What they ask us to find is the rate. Yes. And the rate, we know the formula for finding the rate. Formula for finding the rate is R is equals to simple interest over principal times what? Time. Whereas in the question, the interest is not given, but the principal is given, and the amount is given, and the year is given. So it is very simple to first of all calculate the interest, because it is the interest you are going to use to work. So the interest, simply put, is the amount of money at the end minus the principal. So interest here, say simple interest here, amount minus what? The principal, and the amount here is 588 and the principal is 525. So the interest automatically becomes 63. So in that question, simple interest is 63, principal is 525, and the time is 3 years. You just fit in this value in the formula for finding what? The rates, and that solves the problem. It becomes rates is equal to 63 over 525 times 3. That invariably is rates is equal to 63 over 174 over 1764, which is equals to 0.03514. To the nearest whole number, you have 0.4. 0.4. I mean, to the nearest number, you approximate it to the nearest it becomes 0.04. Approximate it to two decimal place. Approximate it to decimal place, because we are working with what? Percentage. So it becomes 0.04, which is what the rate now would be 0.04, which is the same thing as 4%. 0.04 is the same thing as 4 over what? 100, and 4 over 100 is the same thing as what? 4%. Any question? We move. The next question is question 4, 2023. That one there is 2023, not 203. University matriculation examination 2023. 2003. That is 2003. question 4. Question 4 says, calculate the time. Calculate the time taken for 3,000 to earn 600 naira if invested at 8% simple interest. These questions are very cheap. Now what we do, time is here, which is t. The formula for finding t is already known. It's already in our brain. We have committed it to memory. The formula for finding the t, which is the time, is simple interest over principal times rate. Simple interest over principal times rate. And that question, the simple interest is given as 600. The principal is 3,000 and the rate is 8%. 8% there converted to what decimal number is 0.08. So we are going to be working with 0.08 as what the rates. Now when we fix in this value in the formula, we have t is equal to 600 over 3,000 times 0.08. 600 times 3,000 times 0.08. And what we have is 600 over what? 240. And that will give us 2.5. 2.5 mean 2 and what? Half year. So the solution to that question is 2 and what? Half year. The time is 2 and half year. So option A is the correct word option. Let's proceed. Let's fire on. Now, this is another question. This question is 2010 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, 2010, question 24. And it says, at what rate will the interest on 400 naira increase to 24 naira in 3 years? Wow. Very straightforward question. The principal is 400 naira. The interest is 24 naira. And the rate, and the time is what? 3 years. So what are we looking for? We are looking for what? The rate. At what rate? The rate, the formula is known already, which is rate is equal to simple interest over principal times what? Time, which is rate equals to simple interest over principal times time. In this case, the simple interest is given as 24. The principal is given as what? 400. And the time is given as what? 3. So we go ahead to fix in those values in the formula. When we fix those values, it becomes 24 over 400 times 3. 24 over 400 times 3, which also means 24 over 1,200. And when you work that one out, you have 0.02. This is not 0.2. It is 0.02. That's typographical error. And 0.02 is as good as 2%, because 0.02 means 2 over 100, and 2 over 100 is what? 2%. So the correct options there is B, which is what? 2%. That is what? The rates. Can we proceed? Now let us take the last question. By this question, we must have taken about 7 questions. And the question we are going to take up to 8. So we have taken the 7th question, then we are going to take the last question. And the last question reads, the last question is 2020 question 4. 2020 question 4. It says, find a principal which amounts to 5,500 at a simple interest in 5 years at 2% per annum. So find the principal which amounts. We are looking for the principal and we know the amount. The amount is 5,500. The amount is 5,500 and the time is 5 years. The time is 5 years and the rate is 2%. So we are going to find the amount, the principal. And we have the formula for finding the principal when the interest is not given. If the interest is given, then we will find the principal with this formula that I said P is equals to simple interest over rate times time. But now the interest is not given. So when the interest is not given and the amount is given, the formula we are going to use to solve this problem is principal is equal to the amount over 1 plus rate times time. This formula or this formula was derived. So it is the formula you will use to find the principal when the interest is not known. Interest is not known. But whereas there is, if the interest is known, then you use the other formula. We say P is equal to simple interest over rate times what? Time. But since the formula is, the simple interest is not known, you will use this formula to find the principal. Now in this question, the principal is equals to, the amount is equals to what? 5,500. Then the rate is 2% and the time is 5 years. You just fix in this value into the above formula. It becomes P is equals to 5,500 over 1 plus 0.02 times what? 5. And that becomes 5,500. Yes, there is a typographical in this place. Is P is equals to 5,500, not 5 million, or not 550,000. It is 5,500. So as you are copying, or you want to copy it, correct it as 5,500. P is equal to 5,500 over 1 plus 0.1. The 0.1 here is the result of the multiplication of 0.02 and 5. 0.02 and 5 gives you 0.1. So we have 5,500 plus 0.1. 1 plus 0.1 gives you 1.1. That's how we arrive at 5,500 over 1.1. If you use your calculator to resolve this, you will have P is equals to what? 5,000. P is equals to what? 5,000. Not P is equals to what? 50,000. The typographical error that affect this one also go and affect this. So correct it as you are copying it to be P is equals to 5,000. And the right option there is what? B, which is what? 5,000. 5,000 and not what? 50,000. Is that clear? Did you understand the correction I made? That instead of 50,000, it is what? 5,000. And instead of 550,000 in this particular place, this particular one, it is 5,500. Is that okay? Can we proceed? All right, let's go. We are going to take a look at your home drill. After solving this problem and we did not give you home drill, it's as good as doing nothing to you. So the home drill that you are going to see, that is going to be given to you, try every effort to ensure that you will solve them. And as you try to solve them, if you encounter any problem, do not hesitate to reach us in the comment section and we attend to you as urgent as possible. Now, we are going to take a look at another question. This question is question number 8 of 1981. Question number 8, 1981. That question says, a sum of money invested at 5% per annum, simple interest amount to 285.20 after 3 years. How long will it take the same sum to amount to 434 naira at 7.5% per annum? Simple interest. What is he saying? We are trying to find how long, that is the time. Now, but if you examine this question, you discover that a sum of money invested, the sum of money is not known at 5% interest rate, simple interest, amount to this. So this one is the amount. The principal is not given. It is the amount that is known. And the amount comprises the principal and interest. And we are trying to find what? The time. So you cannot find the time without knowing the principal. Because to find the principal, find how long, you must use the principal. So first of all, we have to calculate the principal. And to calculate the principal, we all know the formula for calculating the principal when the interest is not what? Given. Now the principal, the formula is P is equals to amount over 1 plus rate times time. So in this question, the principal is given by the formula A, which is amount over 1 plus R, which is rate times time. In this question, rate is equals to 5%, time is equals to what? 3, that's 3 years, and amount is equals to 285.20. You fix in this value into the formula and you are going to arrive at what? The principal, which is equals to P now is equals to 285.0 over 1 plus 0.05, which is what the rate, times time, which becomes 285.20 over 1 plus 0.15, which is as good as 285.20 over 1.15. And when you solve that one, you have 248. So the principal is 248. Now it is after finding the 248 that you go and find out the time that this 248 will take to get to what? 434. Because the question says a sum of money invested at 5% per annual simple interest amount to 285.20 after 3 years. The question says, how long will it take the same sum? Which is the sum now? What is the sum now? The sum is the principal. How long will it take the principal to amount to 434? So what we are going to do next is to find how long it will take 248, which is the principal, to become 434. Now, the first thing we will do is to find the simple interest, because to calculate the time we need the simple interest, and we can get the simple interest from the amount and what? The principal and the amount. So the simple interest will be gotten by amount, which is 434 minus principal. 434 minus 248, as can be seen here, is that the simple interest is 434 minus 248. The simple interest now is 186. Now we've gotten the simple interest 186 calculated. Then the rate is 7.5 years given. So we have gotten the rate, and we have gotten what? The simple interest. And so we are going to fix in this value into that formula. That says that time is equals to simple interest over principal times rates, which is 186 over 248 times what? 0.07. How did we arrive at 0.07? 0.075 is the same thing as 7.5%. 7.5% is 7.5. So to convert 7.5, is 7.5, 7.5%, 7.5. So which is 7.5 over 100. Converting 7.5 over 100 to decimal number, it becomes 0.075. And this will give us 186 over 18.6. 18.6 is gotten from 248 times 0.075. And we arrive at 10 years. So it takes 10 years for 248, which is the principal, to get to 434 in 7.5 years. Is that clear? Okay, let's go. Then the last and not the least is the boundary. The boundaries are there. There are two questions. The first one, a man invests a sum of money at 4% per annual simple interest. After 3 years, the principal amount to 7,000. Find the sum invested. The options are there. Attempt them. Attempt it, and I'm sure you will get the correct answer. What you need to do in that first question is to find the principal, and you know the amount is given, simple interest is not given. So what you need to do is to use the formula principal is equals to amount over 1 plus rate times what? Time. Now question 2, if the interest on 150 naira for 2.5 years is 4.5, find what? The interest on 250 naira for 6 months at the same rates. Now this question, the first thing you will do in this question is to find the rate. After finding the rate, then you find the what? Simple interest. And another thing you will remember in this question is that it is 6 months. It's not saying 1 year. And when we say 6 months, it is 6 over what? 12, which is what? Half a year. Half a year is what? Is 0.5. So in the place of the time, you are going to fix in 0.5. By this, we conclude this section of the tutorial. Thank you for learning with us. If you have any question or any matter or anything that is not clear to you, reach us in the comment section. This channel, the name of the channel is Jonah Beecroft Obi, and our WhatsApp number is 080-3554-2119. If you comment on this comment section, you can also at the same time WhatsApp us on our WhatsApp number. You can call us directly. We will not hesitate to get back to you as soon as possible. See you in our next tutorial. Bye.